So we're here in Paris for the COP21, the UN climate change talks. You can see behind me people streaming in and out. We've got government delegates, civil society, all congregating here in Paris for one reason: to discuss the state of our planet. So these negotiations will basically determine whether we avert or collide into a climate crisis. In a nutshell, more than 190 states have convened in Paris to agree on a particular text, one which is legally binding and includes commitments and agreements by each country so that we can collectively, as a planet, keep climate change in check. So far, it's been the country diplomats who have been engaged in the negotiations, but from now on, the ministers will be taking over. From Singapore, we have Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan and Environment Minister Masagos Zulkifli. So the UN negotiations are a rather complicated process, but to help us simplify things and break it down, we have here with us Melissa Loh. She's a researcher at the National University of Singapore. So Melissa, can you help us to sort of give a 30-second summary on what's been going on so far at the COP21 negotiations?
Okay, thank you for having me, Melissa. I'll be happy to explain. Now, the COP negotiations are a 12-day marathon session in Paris, France, that is happening up till this coming Friday. Really, 196 countries will be meeting to negotiate a new deal on climate change to limit temperature increase to 1.5 or 2 degrees Celsius. This agreement is a historic agreement because it intends to succeed the Kyoto Protocol, which only has a deadline of 2020 to be fulfilled, and currently only developed countries have obligations underneath the universal climate governance structure that is the Kyoto Protocol. So we hope that this new deal will have universal participation in that all 196 countries will be involved.
And let's zoom in to Singapore, our small island state. What does all of this actually mean to us? Whether it's 1.5 or 2 or 3 degree rise, what's the difference?
Well, adaptation is going to be an issue for Singapore because as a small island, we are vulnerable to climate change. Right now, a lot of our reclaimed land, the government has actually put in place laws to say that any new reclaimed land has to be 2.5 or 2.25 meters above the sea level, in anticipation that sea level rise will affect our shores, and it will in the foreseeable future. Even with the pledges that are on the table right now, we're looking at not 2 degrees, we're looking at 2.7 to 3.5 degrees increase, and that will mean sea level rise for Singapore. Of course, I think over the last few years, the government has also mentioned that there will be temperature increases, increased heat stress. As we know, the Johor reservoir that supplies our water, 50% of our water, is drying up. So it has an implication on water security, water stress for us. And interestingly, Singapore's Foreign Minister Vivian Balakrishnan is co-chairing, co-facilitating one of the ministerial informal sessions. We think that that is extremely great for a small country like Singapore. We are definitely punching above our weight when it comes to climate change negotiations.
Let's touch on something a little bit more lighthearted now. What's the vibe like at COP? With civil society, and you have scientists and government leaders all coming together. What's the energy like?
First thing is that 150 heads of states turned up on the first day of this conference. Also, in the wake of the Paris terror attacks on the 13th of November, I think most countries want to give France a sense of solidarity. They want to show support to the country, the government of France, that they're behind them, and also to ensure success at this historic Paris conference. And I see that as a good thing.
So it might sound chaotic, but the options are on the table, and over the next 5 days, it's up to world leaders to decide if they have enough political will and resolve to fix the climate problem. So get involved, like our Facebook page, and we'll keep you updated as much as we can about the COP21 negotiations and how you can be part of the story to fight climate change.